The man who fooled America, Charles Ponzi's unbelievable empire of lies. In the early 1900s, long before flashy stock tickers and roaring trading floors, there was a man with a dream so bright it could blind the world. His name was Charles Ponzi. He was not born into power, nor did he come from riches. He came from Lugo, Italy, a small town where hope was thin like morning mist, and the promise of America shone like gold. Ponzi arrived to the United States in 1903 with nothing but a few dollars and a heart full of ambition. He believed America was a giant door, and all he needed was the right key to open it. He tried many jobs. Washing dishes, carrying luggage, sleeping on old benches when he couldn't afford a bed. But even through hunger and hardship he smiled, because he believed his moment would come. Yet behind that hopeful smile, there sat something dangerous. Not evil, but hungry. A hunger to win at any cost. A hunger to prove the world wrong. A hunger that would soon swallow thousands of innocent people, and even his own soul. Ponzi always said, "I am a dreamer." And that was true. But some dreams, when chased without limits, turn into storms. His chance came with a simple thing, an international postal coupon. A tiny piece of paper. Harmless, humble, almost boring. But Ponzi saw a trick hiding inside it, a trick that could turn pennies into fortunes. Or so he thought. Or so he wanted others to think. He began whispering ideas about impossible profits. He spoke softly, like a storyteller around a fire. "Invest with me," he said. "I can give you 50% returns in 90 days. Guaranteed. Guaranteed." That one word would pull people toward him like moths to a flame. He did not yet know it, or maybe he did, but a storm had begun. A storm so powerful that America, for a moment, forgot to question the impossible. Old sepia footage of early 1900s immigration ships arriving in New York Harbor. Close-ups of train stations, crowded streets, tired workers. Young man with suitcase walking through bustling city. Slow pan on international reply coupon, then Ponzi studying paperwork. Cut to dramatic shadow lighting, Ponzi smiling confidently. People say hope is the most powerful currency. Ponzi understood this better than anyone. He saw tired immigrants who wanted a chance. He saw factory workers dreaming of a better life. He saw families who wanted more than survival, they wanted success. And with gentle words and shining promises, he became their hero. Ponzi opened his office, the Securities Exchange Company. A grand name for a very small idea, wrapped in very big dreams. Crowds gathered outside his building. Men in worn jackets. Women holding savings envelopes. Families clutching every dollar they owned. They came with nervous hearts but hopeful eyes. Ponzi stood at his window, watching them line the sidewalk. He felt powerful. He felt chosen. He felt unstoppable. He told everyone the same sweet message. You will not lose. You will earn what others only dream of. And the miracle seemed real. Ponzi paid early investors exactly what he promised, not with profits from the postal coupons, but with money from new investors. The trick worked smoothly. Money flowed like water. People spread the word. And in a single year, Ponzi went from broke immigrant to the most famous man in Boston. Newspapers called him a genius. Crowds cheered when he walked by. Some kissed his hand. He bought mansions, silk suits, gold canes. He gave money to strangers just to show he could. He believed the world finally saw his greatness. But miracles built on lies do not last. Soon, the pressure of his growing empire would begin to crack the walls around him. And when truth knocks, even kings made of gold must answer. Success can be a gentle whisper, or it can roar. For Ponzi, it roared like thunder. The more he gained, the more he wanted. He built a giant house with shining floors and glowing chandeliers. He bought a bank. He traveled in fancy cars. He believed he had conquered fate. But underneath the glittering surface, danger grew. Accountants whispered questions. Journalists raised eyebrows. Bankers wondered how he could promise the impossible. One newspaperman, Clarence Barron, asked the question that cracked the world open. If Ponzi really makes so much money, he said, why does he keep taking money from others instead of using his own? A simple question. A deadly one. Investigators began to dig. They counted the postal coupons Ponzi claimed to use, and found almost none. They did the math, and discovered that to keep his promise, he would need more coupons than existed on the entire planet. Like a magician caught without magic, Ponzi felt the floor shift beneath him. Still, he tried to keep the show alive. He smiled harder, talked faster, promised louder. But doubt spreads like wildfire. Crowds that once worshipped him began to fear him. Whispers turned into accusations. And the man who once stood as a symbol of hope now stood in the shadow of suspicion. Soon, investigators marched toward him, and the castle he built on borrowed dreams began to tremble. When truth finally arrived, it did not knock politely, it crashed through the door. On a warm summer day in 1920, federal agents stormed Ponzi's office. The crowd outside did not cheer, they stared, confused and frightened. Inside, numbers spilled like secrets. Ledger pages fluttered like frightened birds. And the truth everyone feared became impossible to ignore. Charles Ponzi did not have the millions he promised. His grand scheme was nothing but borrowed hope stacked on borrowed money. Soon the news spread across America. A word was born: Ponzi scheme. And it echoed through newspapers, radios, and frightened dinner tables. People cried in the streets. Families begged for answers. Some lost everything. Savings meant for homes, for children, for dreams, gone like dust in the wind. Ponzi stood before the world not as a hero, but as a warning. Some still defended him, because he once made them believe in miracles. Others cursed his name, calling him a thief of hope. When the judge asked if he had anything to say, Ponzi smiled softly and whispered, "I knew it could not last. But while it did, it was wonderful." A chilling truth. For some men, the rise feels worth the fall, even when the fall destroys lives. Ponzi was sentenced to prison, but prison could not hold his hunger. After release, he tried again and again, in Florida, in Europe, anywhere hope still lived. But hope no longer trusted him. The world had learned his name not as a hero, but as a warning story. Years passed, and the shine faded from his eyes. No mansions now. No cheering crowds. Only memories of a world that once bowed before him. He died quietly in Brazil in 1949, in a charity hospital, nearly penniless. A man who once touched millions of dollars now lived his final days counting coins for bread. Yet his story did not die. To this day, the world remembers Charles Ponzi not for his dreams, but for his deception. His name became a lesson, a symbol of greed, trust betrayed, and promises too good to be true. And in every bright smiling stranger offering impossible riches, in every whisper of, "Just trust me, you'll become rich too," in every dream that looks too shiny, too perfect, Ponzi's spirit lingers like a warning in the wind. Because sometimes, the greatest dangers do not come with threats. They come wrapped in hope. If you found this story fascinating, hit that like button, subscribe for more true finance stories, and let me know in the comments.